So Do Make Say Think, the post-rock collective from Montreal, Canada, on the Constellation record label, is back with their first album in like 8 years, I think. It's been a fucking long time, and a lot of people thought they were done, but they've returned and they've blessed us with maybe not the revolutionary album we needed to really bring back post-rock and make it great again, but it's a damn good record, and it shows that the genre is not a dead one. So a lot of what makes Do Make Say Think's music different than a lot of the other post-rock you're gonna get nowadays with the third and fourth wave bands that are crescendo core and resorting on twinkling guitars and cinematic structures. Do Make Say Think really takes their time to build an interesting song, and they really know how to command atmosphere and create a sort of area where you can just exist with the song. When it's done, you come back out. But while you were there, it was a good ride. It wasn't just a crescendo. It was good. And so I was really happy to see them come back, and they get kicking right out of the gate with the opener War on Topor, if I'm pronouncing that right. This is a bold and a fucking loud song. This is sort of bringing me back to the days of over-dramatic, huge guitar riffs and the sort of apocalyptic sort of sound that we were getting with second wave and first wave bands in the post-rock label. Now they immediately bring the song into Horripilation, which is rich with these horn flourishes and all of these different things that add to the sort of bass line of guitar and drums that Do Make Say Think has been working with for almost their entire career. I think this song is very dynamic, and it has a lot to offer with the addition of these more classical instrumentation along with the rock instrumentation. I mean, that is one of the sort of founding principles of this post-rock sort of label, is that you are mixing instrumentation and sort of breaking this structure with normal rock. And I think they do a really good job with the first two songs to really open up to that idea and bring it back to the basics before everything became a trope. It doesn't all stay exciting. A Murder of Thoughts is probably my least favorite song on the album because it's very linear. It doesn't have a lot going on. It's a much more calm song, and it doesn't really do anything to grab your attention. It feels like the sort of build up to something better, but it never really explodes or goes anywhere. But on the other side of that spectrum is Bound and Boundless. Now these are sort of the two opposites, with their titles being very obvious as to which song is going to be the high energy song, which one is going to feel more reserved. But where other bands like this in a post-rock setting would be like quiet, loud, and I mean that is sort of what happens with between these two songs. That is not the only gimmick they have. It's not just a straight crescendo from Bound to Boundless. Instead, we have a lot of intricate playing on Bound, and it feels interesting and like it's got a lot more to it, but it's kind of stuck. It hasn't quite burst open and kind of thrown the ceiling off. And then Boundless comes in with the addition of this alarm, this just constant meh, meh, which is just obnoxious to the ears when it first comes in, and you're like, what the fuck are they doing? But then they bring in these panning, pounding drums, a lot of tom work going on there, and it is intense. They bring in guitar riffs almost immediately that play off of this sort of alarm sound, and the 7-minute song length is entirely justified by continuously interesting, energizing, and just exciting ideas. This is the most excited I've been to listen to a post-rock album since like 2007. And then immediately after Boundless, we are sort of greeted with the back half of this album, which is a little bit calmer in comparison. Return Again is a great, triumphant, sort of big finish to the record. It's much more energizing, sort of similar to the opener War on Topor, but my main gripe with this song is the outro. On an album like this that is so grand and has these kind of winding passages, I really wanted a big finish, and I thought I was going to get that until we hit 2 minutes to the end of the album. And all of a sudden, the guitar riffs, the pounding drums, all of this energy just kind of fades. And we're left with some pretty little passages that just fade out for like 2 minutes. And I think it's kind of a wimpy way to end an album out, especially because at the beginning of this final track, you were so much energy. You were just like blowing up, and it felt like this grand finish. It's really sort of, I know generic and it's very played out, but there's birds on the cover. They're flying off into the horizon. You did it. You made a post-rock album that's relevant in 2017. Holy shit. And it just kind of fades. It's just shrinking onto the horizon. But overall, that song, and especially this record, is a great addition. I think it's gonna sit there with a lot of these other albums and sort of inspire, hopefully, some new bands. I'm done with it, guys. I'm done with the crescendo core. I need to have some justified post-rock albums in the 2010s.